Clark was taken out with a little over 3.5 minutes left at the end of every quarter.
There's a hard truth about Stephanie White that the Indiana Fever front office does not want you to see. She benched the hottest scorer in women's basketball, right in the middle of winning time. Pulled her with 3.5 minutes left in every quarter, just one day after Caitlin Clark put up 45 points and 10 assists. A stat line nobody in WNBA history had ever touched. For 26 straight minutes, Clark sat, watched from the sideline while her coach ran a slow, outdated offense through Aaliyah Boston. No flow, no rhythm, nothing that looked like the player who just made history. And yet, the Fever still won by 20. Final score, 108-88. That's the scary part for Stephanie White. Clark just proved she doesn't need her coach's system to win. So welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down the most confusing coaching call of the WNBA season. The night a coach seemed to punish greatness instead of building on it. But first, rewind 24 hours. Clark drops 45 and 10. A number no legend before her, not Taurasi, not Stewart, not Parker, had ever hit. And instead of headlines celebrating history, the story got buried. Controversy around Sandy Brondello. Manufactured drama instead of credit where it was due. Then the very next game, White puts Clark on a minutes limit. Like she's coming back from injury, not coming off the best game of her career. I've been tracking this for 3 weeks now. White is sliding back into her old playbook. Heavy on Boston in the post. Isolation first for Kelsey Mitchell. A system built for a rebuilding team, not a superstar who just rewrote the record books. And Clark is the one paying for it.
Bro, stop it, Stephanie White. The girl said she's fine. She feels fine. Like, let her play basketball.
Let's break down what actually happened on the court, because the scoreboard alone doesn't tell the real story. Fever win, 108-88. But look at Clark's line, 17 points, 7 assists, 7 turnovers. 5 for 14 shooting, 2 for 8 from 3. That is not the Caitlin Clark we watched a day earlier. That's a player who never found her rhythm, because her coach kept pulling her off the floor every 3.5 minutes like clockwork. Now, she did start cold, no question. But here's what nobody's saying. 3 of those turnovers weren't even on her. Backdoor cuts where her teammates bailed halfway through. Lexie Hall did it. Kelsey Mitchell did it. You commit to the cut, or you don't run it at all. Instead, Clark gets stuck holding a live ball turnover that isn't really hers. And just as she started to find a groove, gone. Pulled at the end of the first quarter. Pulled again at the end of the second. The only reason she got extra run in the second was Mitchell picking up her 3rd foul. Otherwise, she's on the bench watching. Here's the part that should really bother you. Clark said herself, she feels fine. No injury. No load management. She played back-to-backs for 3 straight years in college. This was her first WNBA back-to-back in months. And her coach is treating her like she's fragile. Meanwhile, the offense in the first half was a mess, because Stephanie White brought back Aaliyah Boston and reverted straight to the old system. Boston bringing the ball up. Boston standing at the top of the key, right in Clark's driving lane. The exact heliocentric attack that produced 45 and 10 just one night earlier, scrapped. And the defense matched the chaos. New York couldn't miss. Marlon Mabry drilled 4 of 5 threes in the first quarter alone. The Liberty shot 67% from deep in the first half. Indiana was getting torched every trip down, while their coach was busy trying to force Boston back into a role the team didn't need anymore. Then the second half flipped completely. Indiana locked in defensively, held New York under 30% shooting. Mabry vanished after the first quarter. Jonquel Jones, who had 13 points in the first half, did nothing after the break. Sabrina Ionescu finished with 12 quiet, forgettable points. She keeps disappearing in big moments. I'm just not buying her right now. Offensively, Kelsey Mitchell exploded. 33 points. 10 for 14 shooting. 4 for 6 from deep. She's cooking. But here's the catch. Over her last 2 games, Mitchell has 63 points and exactly 1 assist. She is not looking to distribute. She's a scorer, plain and simple. The playmaking is Clark's job, full stop. Boston bounced back a little in the second half. 15 points, 7 boards, but 6 turnovers. Not a great game overall. Better after the break, sure, but someone needs to tell Stephanie White, stop running the offense through the post at the top of the key. It's clogging every driving lane Clark has. The bench, though, was terrific. Tamika Fagbinel was lighting it up from deep, 3 for 4, 11 points, for boards. Odyssey Sims added 11 on 50% shooting with 4 assists. Michaela Timpson keeps improving every outing, 2 points, 5 boards, solid defense. Indiana's reserves flat-out outplayed New York's. But here's the number that should stick with you. The Fever won by 20, with Clark on the floor for only 26 minutes. 26. And her coach still yanked her at the end of every quarter, like she was running some kind of punishment shift instead of managing her best player.
Caitlin Clark was taken out with a little over 3.5 minutes left at the end of every quarter.
Now here's something you need to hear, because I've been saying it for weeks. This isn't a hunch, it's a pattern. Stephanie White keeps disrupting Clark's rhythm on purpose. And you don't have to trust me on this. Let's look at the actual receipts.
Bro, stop it, Stephanie White. The girl said she's fine. She feels fine. Like, let her play basketball.
Listen closely, because this one detail changes everything. Caitlin Clark got pulled with just over 3.5 minutes left at the end of every single quarter. Not once. Every quarter. That's not rest. That's not injury prevention. That is a coach forcing her best player into a system that was never built for her. Let me say it again, slower this time, in case it didn't land. The most dominant scorer in the league is getting benched at the exact moment she should be closing out quarters and taking over games. This isn't a new theory. I've been laying this out for 3 weeks straight. One breakdown showed how her minutes were getting cut in crunch time. Another showed exactly how this slow, post-heavy offense chokes off her driving lanes. And now, we have the receipts sitting right in front of us. Clark can't build any rhythm when she's stuck on the bench for 3.5-minute stretches every single quarter. She's rushing shots, forcing plays, because she knows the clock is ticking on her own minutes before she gets pulled again. And here's the part that should really get under your skin. Clark has said, in her own words, that she feels fine. She's healthy. She wants to play. But she's being handled like she's fragile. Like she's not the same competitor who played 40 minutes a night through March Madness. Back-to-back national title runs. No restrictions, no hesitation. So let's break down exactly how this played out, quarter by quarter, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. First quarter, Fever up by 4. Clark just drilled a 3 to stretch the lead. And right then, she gets pulled. Why? So the offense could run through the post instead, and Kelsey Mitchell could get more one-on-one touches. What happens next? The other team rips off a 6-0 run in the 2 minutes she's off the floor. By the time she checks back in for the second quarter, her team is now down 2. Second quarter, same story. Clark is heating up, just set up back-to-back baskets for teammates. Pulled again, 3.5 minutes left. The only reason she got back on the floor with a minute remaining was because Mitchell picked up her third foul and the coach had no other option. Third quarter, pulled with 3.5 left. Fourth quarter, you already know. Pulled with 3.5 left. That's not a rotation. That's a routine. And a routine like that doesn't happen by accident. Go back 3 games. Same coach benched her for the final 4 minutes of a tight game against a top team. They lost by 6. Go back 2 games. Pulled her in the third quarter of a blowout and never brought her back, even though she was 2 assists shy of a triple-double. Now this game. 3 games. 3 identical decisions. 3 times Clark pays the price. And every single time, the post-game answer is the same recycled excuse. Managing minutes, building rhythm, integrating the other big scorer. It's smoke. The real story is simple. This is a coach running her own system instead of building around the best player she's ever had. And that system doesn't hold up in today's game. So where is the front office in all of this? Where's the general manager? Where's leadership? 24 hours before this game, Clark delivered the single greatest offensive performance in league history. And the response from ownership? Silence. Complete silence, while she gets pulled at the end of every quarter like clockwork. That silence tells you everything. They're letting it happen because admitting the coaching hire was wrong is harder than watching their franchise player get buried in an outdated system. Now think about what's actually being lost here. She's losing rhythm. She's losing confidence in her jumper because she knows she's only got a couple of minutes on the floor before getting yanked again. She's losing the chance to close out games, which is exactly when real stars separate themselves from everybody else. She's losing trust with teammates who don't even know if she'll be out there when it matters. And most of all, she's losing the chance to dominate the way she's fully capable of. She should be putting up 35 and 12 a night right now. She should be the clear MVP frontrunner. She should be the face of this entire league. Instead, she's logging 26 minutes a game and getting pulled the second she finds a groove. That's her prime, being wasted on a coach who won't adapt. And here's the piece that really seals it. She said herself that sitting for long stretches kills her rhythm. She's told them directly, and it's being ignored. That's not coaching philosophy. That's ego. Somebody trying to prove their system works, even if it costs the best player in the league her rhythm, her stats, and her flow. So here's where this is headed. Save this, because I'm coming back to check every one of these. If this coach is still leading the team by the end of the playoffs, come back and hold me to it. The front office is watching the same numbers we are, the bench time in crunch moments, the stalled out offense. There's a deadline here, whether anyone admits it publicly or not. An early playoff exit changes everything. Next back-to-back set of games. Watch for her minutes to jump past 35. The pressure from fans, from media, from inside the building is going to force a change. And when the leash comes off, expect another 40-point, 10-assist explosion that proves she never needed a restriction in the first place. Within 2 weeks, expect the post-up game to shift back to a traditional role. No more clogging the key, no more killing driving lanes. Back to pick and roll, back to playing to actual strengths. Watch the next couple of games closely too, because a bigger story is about to break. Someone is going to ask her directly, on camera, about these minutes decisions, and her answer is going to be honest enough to force the whole league to pay attention. That's coming soon. As for the playoffs, expect a 3 or 4 seed, a tough second-round matchup. If the bench pattern continues, that series ends in 5 games, and it's a quiet exit. But if the leash comes off and she's allowed 38 to 40 minutes a night, this team is a real finals contender. Mark it down. Come back in 6 weeks and tell me if I called it. Now sit with this for a second. She just won a game by 20 points playing only 26 minutes. 17 points, 7 assists, in a game where the whole flow was working against her. She spent quarter-ending stretches on the bench watching teammates try to hold the lead, and her team still won comfortably. Now imagine what that scoreline looks like if she's never pulled at all. Imagine this offense running through her for a full 40 minutes instead of 26. Imagine a league that celebrates a player rewriting the record books instead of finding ways to slow her down. She is proving, night after night, that she doesn't need her coach's system to win. And that should be terrifying to whoever's drawing up that game plan. So here's what I want from you. Drop your honest take below. Is this deliberate, a coach protecting her own system at the expense of her best player? Or is it just bad coaching with zero hidden motive? Pick your side and defend it in the comments, because the debate down there is half the fun. And send this to the one friend who swears this coaching is fine. Let's see if they still feel that way after watching this breakdown. Hit follow, turn on notifications, because tomorrow we're diving into the technical foul situation that's putting her dangerously close to a suspension, and you don't want to miss that one.